Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
The skyline of downtown Minneapolis is taking on a new look with the Vikings ready to move into their new home. Another beautiful evening for baseball at Target Field, where the Twins launch a 4-game weekend series with Toronto. Star Wars night at the ballpark. Many fans take this evening seriously, maybe too seriously. This Blues and Twins series presented by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. We'll likely witness plenty of power over the next 4 days. Toronto has an impressive history against the Twins, led by Jose Bautista and last year's AL MVP Josh Donaldson, who own the highest career slugging percentage against Minnesota. The Twins' most effective power generator this past week has been Miguel Sano, who has produced 4 home runs in his last 7 games. Here are the headliners in charge of harnessing all that power tonight. Irvin Santana attempts to become the first Twins starter with 2 wins this season. Marco Estrada attempts to earn his first career victory at Target Field. Welcome to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. Both the Twins and Toronto hoping to turn their troubles around tonight. And what better night to do so than Star Wars night here at Target Field. We like to call this series setup Episode XL. The Twins have tried but failed to use the force this season. Just 3 wins in their last 18 games. They've achieved something short of hyperdrive. Every team needs a hero, and for the Twins, Luke Skywalker's been that man. 6 runs, 5 RBIs last 9 games. This guy can drive in runs and save planets at the same time. He's been good. Beware, Twins fans, of the return of Darth Batista. Jose to his friends. He's in the starting lineup tonight. Appealing his one-game suspension with a dust-up in Arlington last week. His career numbers against the Twins, well, they're in a galaxy of their own. Darth Batista has been awfully good against the Minnesota Twins. Up next, Dick Raymer and Bert Blyleven in full Ewok costumes examine the Twins' latest roster move. May the Force be with them.
Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. It is Star Wars night here at Target Field. More importantly, the Twins hope it's the opening game of their most successful homestand of the year, and there's a new player in a Twins uniform. Robbie Grossman signed to a minor league contract a few days ago, and he's here in the big leagues, not in the lineup tonight, but available to play. It is a gorgeous night for baseball at Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for the opener of the 7-game homestand. The Twins still believe that down the road they'll have an outfield of Max Kepler in right, Byron Buxton in center, and Eddie Rosario in left. Now, Buxton and Kepler have been here. They were sent down weeks ago to the minor leagues, and yesterday after the game, Eddie Rosario was sent there.
You know, Eddie Rosario last year came up and made quite an impact. Remember, a first pitch that he saw hit a home run. Well, things went well for him throughout the summer. Everybody expected him to be the outfielder this year. Well, it's really been a struggle. Is it the sophomore jinx? Whatever it is, Eddie Rosario's got to go down to AAA and find that swing again.
For more on the transaction, let's head down to the field and Kevin Gord.
Yeah, with Grossman, guys, they have a guy that can play all 3 positions in the outfield. According to Paul Molitor, he'll ease him into the Twins lineup at some point on this homestand. On the flip side, Molitor's disappointed, no doubt about it. Rosario made such a splash for this baseball team last year. Has not been the same player this year at the plate or in the field. So we asked the manager about the move, sending Eddie Rosario down to Rochester.
We all knew last year we saw a lot of positive things, extra base hits, his defense. The one concern last year was a strikeout walk ratio, which you can get away with when you're doing other things, but just kind of a combination of him struggling with the bat, his plate discipline, and we just thought to go down there and take some pressure off him, go down there and play some games and see if we can kind of recapture some of that. So
the Twins will crank up a 7-game homestand, starting with a 4-game series with Toronto on Star Wars night at Target Field. And Paul Molitor will give the baseball to the Jedi Master, Irvin Santana, off a brilliant start at Cleveland. He'll try to back it up and shut down the Jays when we return.
done.
Very nice. As the Twins open up a 4-game series, 7-game homestand, even TC getting in on the act. Kevin Gorg, Bert Blylev, and Dick Bramer for the opener of this series with the Toronto Blue Jays. And DeMarlo Hale, the acting manager, John Gibbons, is serving his suspension for coming back out onto the field when the Blue Jays and the Rangers had a little situation that they dealt with the other day. And the Blue Jays, believe it or not, have struggled to score runs. So Jose Bautista tonight has been moved into the leadoff spot.
Yeah, Bautista leading the American League in walks. Of course, this guy has a lot of success here at Target Field, and it's up to Santana to stop that little streak that he's been on. A lot of home runs. There's a lineup.
Bautista, Donaldson, Encarnacion in the first inning at least. A pitch up, and it's 2-0. Then Smoke, Saunders, Tulowitzki struggling. Johnny Paredes, Jimmy Paredes, and Russell Martin, Kevin Pillar. 2-0 to Bautista, and now 3-0. And one of the reasons that DeMarlo Hale moved Bautista up, he leads the American League in walks, and Santana falls behind 3-0.
Yeah, 35 walks. The second most is Joe Mauer with 26. So Ervin Santana, who has pitched very well. We showed you the numbers in our pregame over his last 13 starts on August 30th. 6-3, 2.27 earned run average.
And a liner to left, a base hit. Bautista aboard with a solid single. And that'll bring up Josh Donaldson. Northland Ford defense for the Twins with Eddie Rosario gone. At least tonight it's Oswaldo Arcia in left field, Danny Santana in center, and Miguel Sano in right. Trevor Plouffe, Eduardo Nunez, Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer the infielders, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Arcia getting a chance. I asked Paul Molitor before the game today, with the demotion of Rosario, does it mean that Arcia is going to see most of the time in left field? And Paul said no, not necessarily. He gets the start tonight, and they'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's had pretty good numbers against the Blue Jays over the last couple of years, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if he goes 4 for 4 tonight, he'll probably be in there tomorrow. So swinging a good bat always helps.
Especially these days. Here is Donaldson, and there is ball 1. Joe West is going to call strikes and balls, at least we hope.
He's a crew chief here.
Fletcher, Basner, Ripperger, the base umps. Popped up left side, a big pop up. Nunez out, Arcia in, and Arcia makes the catch, with Nunez having to run out of the way. The wind blowing in from right field. And that was very similar, Bert, to a ball that contributed, I think, to Rosario's demotion yesterday in Detroit. There was a pop-up hit to about the same spot. Nunez went out, and Rosario didn't really take command, as Arcia eventually did, and the ball dropped.
Well, there's a lot of other reasons too, but that ball was hit high. I mean, as you saw kind of Paul looking up, that might have been up by the light towers. So there is one out, and again, this is a very dangerous ball club, the Toronto Blue Jays. Even they're off to a slow start, they like to swing the bat, and especially on fastballs. And that's why I think Santana's going to pitch pretty good here tonight. He changes speeds well. He does a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed only 2 home runs. This is his 7th start of the season.
1 strike to Encarnacion.
6 career wins against the Toronto Blue Jays, making his 18th start.
Blue Jays have lost 5 in a row. They have the lowest team batting average in the American League at .234. And there's their second hit tonight. Another solid stroke to left field. Bautista advances to second base. The Blue Jays, with a 5-game losing streak, now are below the 500 mark, 19-23. Got to the ALCS, lost to the Royals, and that dramatic game with the Rangers in the playoffs. The starters have really struggled, starting with the starter tonight for the Blue Jays, Marco Estrada, and the offense was really scuffled to score runs. A .227 average over the last 2 weeks. Here is Justin Smoke. And on the outside corner, strike 1.
Santana's have been able to get 3 double plays turned behind him. Justin Smoke, a switch hitter in his 2nd season with Toronto. Spent time with the Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners. All these guys in a lineup have some pop in their bat. 18 home runs for Smoke last year in 132 ball games.
And Suzuki to the mound. They'll get things squared away here. Santana stepped off the rubber and looked to second base at Bautista. And now Suzuki to the mound, and they'll maybe configure a different set of signs.
Yeah, there are a lot of base runners that like to steal the signs from the catcher. Sometimes pitchers use, say, the first sign put down or the last sign. Change the indicator. First sign after 2, whatever you might decide on.
Popped up to right center field. A lot of hang time for this one. And Santana on the warning track makes the catch. Bautista will advance to third base. 2 down, and now runners on the corners. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet Clean Crisp Coors Light. And Irvin Santana's last 11 games against Toronto, he's pitched very well, and an opponent batting average of under 200.
Again, a fastball hitting ball club. You have to make your pitches. You can't do what he did to Bautista, fall behind 3-1, have to come in with a fastball. So hopefully get ahead in the count.
Michael Saunders hitting over 300. Comes up with runners on the corners and 2 down.
Saunders having a very solid year for the Blue Jays. Last year, he, in his first season with the Blue Jays in spring training, ended up tearing up his left knee, needed surgery, and played in only 9 games for the Blue Jays. 6 seasons with the Seattle Mariners before joining the Blue Jays. See where he was last year.
Jack swing and a little bit low, 1-1.
What's fun to watch about Santana is usually he doesn't pitch up in the zone. He knows that his power is down, along with that changeup, the slider. He has some movement on his fastball.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Changeup right there with that little movement that sinks down and away to left-handers. You almost see it in his glove right there, where his hand is almost like a palm ball, and good movement, great location.
Trying to strand a couple of Blue Jays here in the first inning. And blocked by Suzuki. It's 2-2.
Yeah, you want something to happen right here. Santana coming into the ball game, 27 strikeouts in 29 1/3 innings pitched.
Two and 2. And now full count.
That'll give Encarnacion a little head start towards second.
Mauer looking in the dugout and confirming with Santana he'll be in the vicinity of the bag. The left-handed batter up there, gradually retreating. 3-2 pitch. Tap to the right side. Mauer to Santana. And the Blue Jays get a couple of hits, leave 2 aboard, a scoreless top of the first. as tonight his team plays its 40th game, that the first quarter of the season roughly will be the worst quarter of his managerial career, however long that might be. Menard's batting order has Dozier back in the leadoff spot for the Twins, and Nunez, Mauer, Sano, Plouffe, and Park, Arcia, Suzuki, and Santana.
And it'll be 32-year-old Marco Estrada on the mound, making his 8th start. You see the 1 and 2, very good 2.89 ERA. He has not had a lot of run support while he has been on the mound. He's pitched outstanding. 4 of his 7 starts have been quality starts. Twins saw Estrada mainly when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Dozier takes down and away, ball 1. Then Nunez and Mauer. Swing and a miss. The return of Dozier to the leadoff spot coincided. I don't think it was directly related to. I don't think it was the cause of Mauer's struggles, but Joe didn't really respond to leading off, either in terms of hits or walks. And a strike called, 1 and 2. So Joe back to third in the batting order with Nunez sandwiched between Dozier and Mauer.
Yeah, I think what we have seen, Dick, and you mentioned it, you know, Paul Molitor's trying to put a winning lineup together and just to make sure and find a way to click. Estrada changes speeds well, has 2 types of curveballs, fastball in the low 90s. Very good changeup. That last pitch to Dozier was a changeup away.
One and 2. And now 2 and 2. The 5-game losing streak for the Blue Jays started in Estrada's last start. Hasn't been given much run support, 2.1 runs of support per start. But you saw his opponent batting average 199. Down and away now, 3 and 2.
Yeah, left-handers hitting 192 off of him, right-handers 205. So he's had a good success against righties and lefties, given up only 32 hits in 43 and 2/3 innings pitched.
And a base hit left center field. Dozier rounding first, and he'll slam on the brakes. Strong throw from Kevin Pillar and a quick retrieve, and Dozier's aboard with a leadoff single. Northland Ford defense for Toronto. Michael Saunders is in left field, Kevin Pillar in center, and Jose Bautista in right. Tulowitzki and Paredes up the middle. Donaldson smoked the corner infielders, and Russell Martin behind the plate. While the Twins have moved pieces around in the batting order, trying to find something that works, Nunez has hit wherever the Twins have put him. It just seems like he would be an ideal number 2 hitter for situations like this. Swing and a miss. You know, traditionally, you'd like your number 2 hitter to be able to hit behind a runner. That's the way the game used to be played. The leadoff hitter was on. He had some speed. He might run a little hit and run. And Nunez, more than any other Twins hitter, has the ability to use the right side of the field. Bunted at it, and now it's 0-2.
Yeah, throughout the season, Nunez, of course, kind of a utility type player, but forced into everyday role, and he's responded well.
Two strikes to Nunez. And he took an off-speed pitch low. Average came down to 333. Boom, he has a good game. It's back up to 340. And now inside 2-2. Estrada got ahead of Dozier and then ran the count full, gave up a base hit. Now he's even the count to Nunez. Left field, Saunders is there for the catch. Nunez put the barrel of the bat on it for the first out. Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. News and notes setting up this 4-game series. Toronto not only swept by the Rays, They were outscored 31-7, and they were at home. Second time this year that the Jays have been swept at home. Trevor Plouffe reached in 9 straight. And we talked about the low run support for Marco Estrada. Here's Bauer. Fastball on the outside corner. Bauer hit his second home run of the year in Detroit. The average has taken a tumble since we got into the month of May. Roller right side. Right through the legs of Paredes. And now Dozier will try for third, and Bautista's throw is not in time. My goodness. I don't know if Paredes was trying to decide whether to try to get the out at second or first, and he never caught the ball.
Yeah, Paredes only in his 3rd game as a Toronto Blue Jay, just claimed off waivers from the Baltimore Orioles organization. It'll be an error charged to Paredes, his 2nd error. The ball just right under his glove.
It wasn't a bad hop, that was a hop. And never made contact with it. So 2 aboard now for Miguel Sano.
See if the Twins can take advantage of the error.
There were too many mistakes that the Twins made in Detroit, and the Tigers took advantage of some of them. And as you said, we'll see if Sano can make the Blue Jays pay for the error. A high fly to center. Going back is Pilar. This ball carrying out to the edge of the track and tagging, and coming in is Dozier, and he crosses the plate right before the play at second base. Mauer getting in ahead of the tag. It's 1-0.
Yeah, if you're at third base like Dozier, you hustle in because Joe Mauer was tagging up, and Pilar again showing off a strong arm and very accurate arm. 1 hop throw to second base, and Joe just got underneath the tag. This ball just kept drifting on Pilar. He had to go back to the warning track, and then his momentum. And look at the throw, a 1-hopper, and Joe just got the foot in.
And you could see Dozier, as you said, scampering, running hard all the way through home plate, and that's a good base running by Dozier, because that could have been a costly mistake right there, with Mauer trying to advance if he'd been thrown out before Dozier crossed the plate.
Yeah, Sano picking up an RBI, his 19th of the year. That leads the Twins.
Plouffe fouls it back.
And they do take advantage of the error. The error allowed Brian Dozier to go from second to third.
And there would have been a second out, and Sano's fly ball would have been the third out. 1 strike to Plouffe. Another pop fly to center field. This one, Pilar comes in a few steps. A leadoff single for Dozier. An error leads to an unearned run. The Twins will take it. It's 1-0.
We talked about it in the pregame show. The Jays have feasted here at Target Field. In the last 20 games, 30 home runs. They've averaged over 5 runs per game. So we asked Neil Allen, the pitching coach, how do you slow them down? He said a couple of key things. Number one, you got to work the inside part. You got to push them off the plate. Number two, you got to work from ahead, as Bert talked about earlier. And the last thing that he talked about is you've got to be able to change speeds effectively and keep these hitters off balance, guys. So far, so good for Ervin Santana. Maybe he can set the template for the entire 4-game series behind him.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I think it's a foregone conclusion, don't you, that when this Twins team becomes competitive in the standings again, relevant in the standings again, better starting pitching is going to lead the way.
I've said that all along. I mean, my goodness, you know, the starters combined 5-18 with an ERA over 5. So I found it interesting. Tom Hanneman in the pregame said Ervin Santana trying to become the first Twins starter. This is game 40 to win 2 games.
Tonight, Chris Sale's looking for his 9th win. And the Twins as a team have just 10. 1-2 to Troy Tulowitzki, struggling in his first full year with the Blue Jays. Saw Kyle Gibson. He pitched a simulated game and reported his shoulder feels fine. He's going to head down on a rehab assignment and make a start on Sunday.
Tulowitzki getting traded over to Toronto, a late July trade last year from the Colorado Rockies. 2-time Gold Glove winner, 5-time National League All-Star when he was with the Rockies. Career .297 hitter, so they feel that Tulowitzki hopefully will pick it up a little bit.
And now down low, 2-2.
That's why I said I feel that Santana is the right guy to face a good fastball hitting ball club like Toronto. In his career, he has 6 wins against Toronto in 18 starts, 3 complete games. Good earned run average against him in the 18 starts or 17 starts, 3.7.
Full count to the leadoff man here in the second.
You want to keep that pitch count down. Too many pitches already for Santana. 23, only 13 strikes.
The left center field, and Santana over towards the gap. 1 away.
Well, you go back to August 30th of last year, his last 13 starts. Ervin Santana has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game. 6-3 with a 2.27 ERA. And the Twins are looking for a starter to step up. And of course, Santana missed 80 of the first games last year. But they're hoping that he can be that ace that they went out and got as a free agent.
Jimmy Paredes at the plate. Roller towards Dozier. Gets in front of it. Sets. Fires 2 down.
That's what you need, some quick outs.
We'll bring up Russell Martin.
You can see most consecutive starts allowing 3 earns or less. Jake Arrieta, my goodness, has he been red hot. And tomorrow's starter, Tyler Duffy for the Twins, also at 13.
2 down, and now Martin.
Talked about Tulowitzki off to a slow start. How about the numbers for Russell Martin?
Strike 1. Martin still a great value to the Blue Jays, and the good starting pitching that they have gotten is credited somewhat to Martin's catching and game calling ability. 2 hops to Plouffe. And a clean 1-2-3 second inning for Ervin Santana. Minnesota, can you find more than 10,000 excuses to drop a line, relax, catch a variety of different fish in lakes, streams, and rivers? Minnesota's great fishing is made possible by its many diverse bodies of water. The land of 10,000 lakes has more shoreline. Get this, California boy, has more shoreline than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined. Take that.
I was born in Holland.
Find endless ideas for the perfect getaway at exploreminnesota.com. Share your favorites with hashtag #OnlyInMN. And as a nearly lifelong Minnesota resident, I have 100 feet of that lakeshore.
Very nice.
I have minority stock in the lakes of Minnesota. Young Hope Park takes ball one. Park, Arcia, and Suzuki facing Marco Estrada. Out in front of the changeup. 1-1.
Estrada will give you a couple different arm angles too. He's kind of straight over the top with that changeup. Again, Park, this is his first plate appearance against Estrada.
Called strike, and it's 1-2. That landed 5 feet in front of the plate. 2-2.
I see Estrada do that glove to where he kind of, you can only see his eyes. I think of Andy Pettit. Andy Pettit for the Yankees in Houston always did that. Of course, Andy, a left-handed pitcher. Another off-speed
7 miles per hour. 1 down.
Estrada picks up his first changeup. Or excuse me, on a changeup, his first strike.
May 24th is U of M night at Target Field. A limited number of University of Minnesota theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and maroon and gold Twins cap. Go to twinsbaseball.com/U of M to learn more about the U of M theme night offer. Tonight, of course, it's Star Wars night. We've had a number of these over the last few years. Popped up back and out of play. Now you, I think, echoed my thoughts. I saw the original Star Wars, but I haven't seen any of the sequels.
Yeah, me neither. So I know a lot of people love Star Wars.
I was always waiting for them to make a sequel of my favorite movie, Marathon Man, and they never did. And I realized, well, just about everybody died at the end of the first one. There weren't enough characters left. Here's a drive to right field and foul.
Well, you saw Martin with the glove up, and I'll tell you what, Estrada threw exactly where Martin wanted it. Well, watch Martin kind of put that glove up a little bit, and that ball is right at the glove, but Arcia got a good swing, but just hooked it foul.
0-2, and now a dribbler right side. Smoke to Estrada, 2 down. And that'll bring up Kurt Suzuki, hoping to get a milestone hit tonight. Got a couple of hits in Detroit yesterday, and he has 999 career hits.
Always look better on the back of your bubblegum card if you could put 4 numbers on there as far as hits. See if Kurt can do it in this at bat. He will get it. It's just a matter of when. No better time than now. Had a good road trip. 4 hits and 10 at bats with his first home run of the year.
Takes a pitch up, ball 1.
And Suzuki against Estrada. 3 hits in 7 at bats.
Foul back. Suzuki with a big swing, a pitch left up. Twins with a leadoff single in the first inning. Worked Brian Dozier around to score the run. And now outside, 2-1.
Suzuki in his 3rd season with the Twins, 10th overall season with the Oakland A's, Nationals, and now Twins.
Popped up center field. Pilar coming in, calling for it. Makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Marco Estrada. When we come back, the new coach of the Minnesota Wild, Bruce Boudreau, will join us. Lead, a costly Toronto error. We head to the third inning. Bruce Boudreau will join us. He's serving 2 minutes for roughing.
Yep.
And
I heard about him.
he'll get out of the penalty box and join us here shortly. Kevin Pillar will lead things off in the third inning. Pillar, one of a number of other leadoff hitters the Blue Jays have used. And Pillar moved down to the 9th spot in the batting order. And with the power that the Blue Jays now have in their leadoff spot with Bautista, really important to keep Pillar off the bases.
I was going to say only because he's such a fast runner too.
Dribbled up the line and foul, with Santana scooping it after it crossed the line. Two strikes to Pillar, then Bautista and Donaldson. And Santana, even though he's a pitcher and he's the best athlete on the team, he'll get a few extra seconds here to catch his breath after that.
No, they're letting Pillar because he had to run down that line.
Is that what it is?
Not the pitcher.
Two strikes to Pillar. And in the dirt. We're very happy to have Bruce Boudreau with us, newly named the coach of the Minnesota Wild, and officially welcome back to Minnesota.
Thank you very much. It's great. I'm having a great time so far.
We say welcome back because part of your hockey playing career was here with the St. Paul Saints.
Yeah, that was my first stop and the first time I'd ever left home. So it was a pretty interesting first year here.
I'll be honest with you. I lived here back then, and the Fighting Saints, that was a great name for you guys because you did.
That's all they did. And that's why they didn't like me, because I was no good at it.
The fly to left, and Arcia is right there for the catch, one away. Well, I got to ask you this because, you know, I'm a baseball guy. Bert's a baseball guy. I'm assuming you're no relation to Lou Boudreau, a Hall of Fame player.
You know what? When I grew up, everybody thought,
is that right?
You know, oh, you must be related to Lou, and I said, no, not at all.
You played. I mean, your first pitch was outstanding, left-handed, and you threw a strike.
There was some stuff on it too.
That's what Paul said. A little cut to it.
Did you do this on purpose?
No, I tell you what, I was more nervous going to throw that pitch out than any Game 7 that I've ever coached.
Now back to Santana, broken bat, and he broke that one good, right in half. 2 down.
I understand training camp for you. I know you have to get to know. You probably know a lot of the personnel already, Coach. But you know, starts, I believe, in September.
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking forward to that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Already.
Like, yeah. I mean, the teams that I've coached in this league, I've taken over in midstream, so you never had to have a training camp. Going through the summer and being able to prepare properly is I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, you were with the Anaheim Ducks, I believe, what, 5 seasons?
5 seasons, yeah. And so it's and I joined them in mid-December, and in Washington in mid-November. So this is a little bit of a luxury right now.
2 down here in the top of the third inning. Josh Donaldson, the batter, hit a fly ball to left his first time up.
Are you a baseball fan?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, now obviously
I grew up
in Toronto. And watching the Blue Jays and meeting Paul Molitor today was it was a real highlight for me because I was such a big fan when they won the World Series when he played his 3 years there, and thought he was just a great ambassador for the game and not only a Hall of Famer. So I mean that was pretty cool for me.
You've got to be tickled because this Wild team has an awful lot of talent, but to this point it hasn't really all come together yet.
Not yet, but we're hoping. I mean, we had 12 guys that were under 26 years old, which, they haven't even reached their peak yet. They're still learning the game, and it's always good to take over a team that has a lot of promise. And I think this team, when we played them, when I was in Anaheim, they were always a very, very tough team to play against. So I'm hoping that continues through the next couple of years.
Good inning for Santana again. Bruce, again, welcome back to Minnesota. Great to see you. Great to have you at a Twins game, and good luck to the Wild.
Thank you. It's been great, and go Twins.
All right.
Coach, good luck.
Bert, thank you.
Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Danny Santana drops down a bunt. Donaldson makes the play. Safe at first. Beautiful bunt by Santana leading off the inning. And Donaldson did everything he could with it.
You know what? This is why you look at Danny Santana. He brings a lot with him to the ballpark. You know, he can cover a lot of ground out in center field, but offensively, I think he's getting better and better. He just lays down a bunt. Donaldson comes in, barehands it. And you see the speed of Danny Santana out of that batter's box.
Blue Jays are considering a challenge here. And the original call was safe. And again, we see Santana do that. He puts the bat in the position to bunt. It's not moving much when he makes contact.
I think he's safe on that one right there.
Not enough to overrule it. Again, if the original call had been out, Twins probably wouldn't have challenged it either. Leadoff single. Twins had one of those from Dozier and scored a run in the first inning. Close play at first. Santana back.
Yeah, Santana 7 stolen bases in 11 attempts. And clubs against Estrada on the mound. They have a couple stolen bases in 2 attempts.
Twins have stolen bases at a high success rate. Now, a couple of the steals in Detroit, the manager wasn't too pleased with. The steals of third base, first by Plouffe and then the one yesterday by Eddie Rosario. But 26 steals in 33 tries. When Paul Molitor was a Hall of Fame player, his success rate in stealing bases was over 80%, which is extraordinary. And the Twins are approaching that this year. If they can get a couple of steals without being thrown out, the team's stolen base success rate will be 80%. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. An important stat for Brian Dozier as he emerged the last couple of years as one of the best second basemen in the game. Runs scored. 112 2 years ago. 101 runs last year with a poor second half. He's on a pace this year to score just 64 runs. And he got a run scored in the first inning. There goes Santana. Swing and a miss. And Santana will steal. And for Santana, his 8th steal. Excuse me. Yes, his 8th steal, and the team's 27th. Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Lynx at Mall of America for the Let's Celebrate the Lynx event from noon to 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 21st. Enjoy interactive games, register to win tickets and more. Visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events for details.
Yeah, Santana ran on a good pitch, a breaking ball down and away. Martin had to get it on that first hop as Dozier swung through it for strike 3. And Santana in scoring position with 1 out.
And now Nunez, a hit to the outfield, should double the lead. Over the inside corner. Nunez lined out to the left fielder Saunders his first time up. Hacked foul between Butch Davis and the line. Two strikes to the Twins shortstop with the speedy Santana at second. And Nunez, don't see him do that very often. Chased a pitch nowhere's near the strike zone. 2 down.
He'll have some wild swings from time to time, and that high fastball right there gets another strikeout for Marco Estrada.
Feel bad.
His 3rd.
Feel bad saying this. but it's the state of affairs with baseball in general and the Twins in particular. But that's just his 21st strikeout and 108 at bats. Here's Mauer. Twins need a 2-out hit here to get at least another run here in the third. Ball one.
This is where the Twins have really struggled this year. They come into this game with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, hitting just 179.
Hit almost 100 points higher than that last year. On the outside corner. Joe hit the ground ball that went right between the legs of Paredes. Gave the Twins an extra out, advanced Dozier to third base. And then Dozier came in on the Sano fly ball. Another one on the outside corner. 1-2. Base hit center field. Santana to third, being waved around. Pilar with a strong throw to the plate. Mauer to second base. And the Twins have a 2-0 lead on a clutch hit by Joe Mauer.
Now we saw the strength of Pilar's arm in the first inning. And you knew it was going to be a close play at home. But with 2 outs, Danny Santana and his speed helped the Twins score another run. A little too much air time right there. And Martin came in front of the plate, threw to second base, but Joe Mauer, who kept going because of that high throw.
They're going to challenge this with DeMarlo Hale coming out saying, hey, Mauer came off the bag. The run will score regardless because Santana had crossed the plate. Let's take another look. And
well, this is why as an infielder you are taught now to keep your glove on the runner. You can see Joe's foot definitely came off the bag as Tulowitzki's glove stayed on him.
And second base umpire Toby Basner's defense, he was in the worst possible position to be in the vicinity and not make the call correct or correctly. And they call Mauer out. Basically the same thing that happened to Miguel Sano a couple of weeks ago. The run counts, the hit counts. It's 2-0 Twins. Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. and by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. 2-0 Twins. Joe Mauer providing a clutch hit, but coming off the second base bag after the run scored. It's 2-0, and now Edwin Encarnacion will lead off the fourth. And Santana working these power hitters inside and getting some strikes in there.
Well, that's exactly what Neil Allen, the pitching coach, said about facing these Toronto Blue Jays, especially the power hitters. You have to show them you'll come in, and then hopefully that'll open up the outer half of the plate. Some of these guys, they like to lunge a little bit. Most of the Toronto Blue Jays are standing in the box exactly where Encarnacion is, toward the back, toward the catcher with that right foot. And they like to, they challenge you sometimes to go in. So if you're going to go in, you have to go way in.
1-2 to Encarnacion. Smoke and Saunders will follow.
Santana's retired 8 straight Blue Jays. Good sinker down and in. So you see the two type of fastballs. A straight fastball that gets strike one on the inner half of the plate. Then he tried the two-seamer down and in.
Struck him out. An off-speed pitch, and Encarnacion is gone.
And a second strikeout for Santana. So again, his changeup looks like a fastball. Look at the arm come through, and then the ball just kind of dips right there at 84 miles an hour. Adding and subtracting. That's what Irvin Santana is all about.
Retired 9 men in a row. Justin Smoke will bat. Showed you last year the Blue Jays made a run toward the second half of the year, or in the second half of the year, got into the playoffs, and a lot of people thought they had them as favorites in the American League East again this year. What is forgotten is that at the trade deadline last year, the Twins had a better record than the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays at the end of July were 53-51. The Twins were 53-49. But the Blue Jays were very aggressive, getting David Price prior to the trade deadline. Troy Tulowitzki. So they went for it and got to the playoffs. Gave up a lot of prospects to get the veteran players. Smoke retired, 2 down. And let's check in with Kevin Gordon.
Yeah, guys, time for our Sanford Health injury update. Kyle Gibson, as Dick mentioned earlier, 45 pitches during batting practice, simulated game, felt pretty good. I talked to Kyle after he got off the mound and said his slider wasn't up to par. Everything else felt good. From talking to Paul Mauer and Neil Allen, he'll make a couple of starts, maybe 2 or 3 at the minor league level, starting with high A on Sunday. If all things go well, early to mid-June, back with the Minnesota Twins. And boy, if he can get back into his form from last year, that would really also help this ball club get back in this thing.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, you'll see how the shoulder feels tomorrow. Throwing 45 pitches. He's been throwing a little bit, so hopefully it'll be well.
What must it be like to be a hitter in a simulated game? I mean, you saw Darren Mastroianni and the new twin Robbie Grossman. And they're fighting for playoff time. They want to be able to show something during the simulated game. They get some hits, but on the other hand, if you start hitting ropes all over the ballpark against the guy pitching the simulated game, well, that might not be too good for your team.
Well, it's kind of like spring training. The pitchers will go out there and throw to live hitters. And I particularly, when I threw batting practice, I wanted to pitch to the dead hitters, but they put live ones in there.
Not even the bench players.
Yeah. No, it actually helps. Mastroianni and Grossman, who just joined the club here today, to see somebody that throws a little bit more than 60 miles an hour as far as batting practice.
But if you're in there and all you hit are like 5 hoppers to short,
that makes Gibson feel really good.
It sure makes Gibson feel good. You might not get in a game for a week. 1-1. And now 2-1.
Well, to me, Irvin Santana has a good whip, and it's not one of these new stats that are out there. He's got a good whip as far as that right arm.
That's to left. And trotting to the corner is Arcia. And another 1-2-3 inning for Irvin Santana. 11 in a row set down by the Twins right-hander, and Miguel Sano will lead off the bottom of the inning. Key stat. Miguel Sano on a pretty impressive list. Only 2 other men have taken less time to get to 25 home runs and 75 walks in the history of the game. A couple of left-handed sluggers, Dunn and Moss. And Sano takes ball 1, drove in the first run of the ball game tonight with a sacrifice fly to the warning track in center field.
Yeah, strikeouts are part of his game. 56 strikeouts and 142 at bats, but also at times has shown a very good eye at the plate. Has drawn some walks, 22 this year. 7 home runs.
And now 3-0. Might be on the verge of getting a leadoff walk here on the 4th.
He may have the green light right here.
I suspect he'll go through the rest of his major league career with the green light. Makes it at the knees. And again, getting the green light doesn't mean he necessarily has to swing.
Right.
He's just looking for something keyholed in a certain spot. And now he swings at a breaking ball, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, quick slider right there. Estrada with 3 strikeouts so far, no walks. He just struck him out. Good fastball.
Fastball at the knees. 1 down, and that'll bring up Plouffe.
Well, he fell behind 3-0. Sano took the strike and then swung at the slider and then straight over the top fastball, hit it, clipping the lower part of the strike zone.
Fox Tracks presented by Dodge. Sano tried to sell a walk, but he realized that it was right at the knees. Here's Plouffe, hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Ball 1. Plouffe and then Park. Foul back. Twins don't have the dominant right-handed power that the Blue Jays have with Bautista, Encarnacion, and Colabello's hitting in the lineup for them last year. Donaldson crack to center, and that'll carry to Pilar, who makes the catch. But in Sano, Plouffe, and Park, Twins have 3 guys all right-handed who have considerable power. The Budweiser Roof Deck is the ultimate Minnesota Twins outdoor experience. The roof deck is available for your group of 250 guests on both Independence and Labor Day weekends. Clients and staff will love the sweeping views, amenities, the large fire, if there's a chill in the air, everything you need for mixing game time with social time. Go to twinsbaseball.com/groups. Learn more about how your group can experience the Budweiser Roof Day. Here's Park. Struck out his first time up. Inside, and it's 2-0.
Estrada, 32 years old, born in Mexico, but grew up in Southern California. Attended Long Beach State University.
And now falls behind Park 3-0.
You know, he was originally signed by the Washington Nationals back in 2005. Came up with the Nationals a couple years basically out of the bullpen. Those are his starts. 195 games in before tonight.
Park green lighted on 3-0, and it's a towering pop up to Tulowitzki, and Estrada has his second 1-2-3 inning.
Night at Target Field. It's 2-0 Twins as we head to the fifth. We are standing smack dab in the middle of the Minnesota State Lottery winner's circle, and when it's your birthday and you're 30, we pull out all the stops. Look at this. We've got 100 scratch-off tickets. We've got a stormtrooper of some kind. And what's the biggest thrill? You got a handsome devil next to you. You got the best seats in the house, and now you're getting circled by Hall of Famer Burt Blytheland. What's the biggest thrill?
I think it's all awesome. I can't pick just one.
I don't know. I think Burt would look pretty good in that stormtrooper outfit. Anyway, 100 scratch-off tickets, guys. It's Katie from Fertile, Minnesota. I didn't know much about Fertile. It's up near Climax, up by Fargo, and there's a bad joke there somewhere. Bottom line is she's a big winner on her birthday tonight.
I won't touch that either, but you are hereby circled.
One down, and Jimmy Paredes. Out of respect to both the people in Fertile and Climax, Minnesota, I won't repeat the infamous newspaper headline.
Hey, would you stop while you're ahead?
50 years ago. Paredes with a ground ball to second. Swing and a miss. And it's 2 strikes. Boy, Santana's on a roll here. He gave up singles to the first 2 of the first 3 batters he faced, and he hasn't allowed a base runner. And just 3 balls have been hit out of the outfield since the first inning.
They've retired 12 in a row now. Santana making his 320th start. 127 wins.
Tapped foul.
14 complete games, 7 shutouts in his career. Out of the Dominican Republic, signed by the Angels in 2000. Pitching a long time.
And now 2-2. Population of fertile Minnesota, by the way, 836.
I think there'd be more.
Tap to the right side. Mauer has it. Santana lands on the bag. 2 down. Kids in the City is less than a week away, and limited tickets remain. Act now to join Fox Sports North and the Boys and Girls Club All-Stars on May 24th for a pregame party at Fulton Brewery, followed by the Twins and the Royals game at Target Field. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar for details. Here's Russell Martin. And a strike on the outside corner.
And a good fastball right there. Great location for Santana. So Santana working all 4 corners of the plate.
Half swing, and Joe West said he went. And Russell Martin doesn't like it, and I don't blame him. That really bugs me when home plate umpires do that. I don't think he went. And the home plate umpire didn't ask for help.
Well, it's a good breaking ball down.
No, he didn't go.
He held up.
2 strikes.
But that's also Mr. West, you know. That's
1 and 2.
Slider just missing.
And a base hit to left field with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Well, that ends a streak of 13 straight recorded by Santana. Well, Martin, who had been struggling at the plate, came into this game hitting only 170. Hit a pretty good pitch. It's a good sinker down. Just served it into left center.
Here is Pilar.
3rd hit for the Blue Jays.
Off the plate, ball 1. Pilar moved out of the leadoff spot because regardless of what he's hitting, he's simply not going to walk much. He has 161 at bats and only 4 walks. And that one clips the corner, 1-1. '65th pitch of the night for Irvin Santana. And a lob to first.
Yeah, Martin not really going anywhere, but outstanding strike to ball ratio.
Half swing. No swing.
There he asked. I thought that Pilar went further than Donaldson did.
Just ask. That's my point. It doesn't take long. The guys up the baselines have an incredibly better view, and the right call was made. Martin ended up at first after having strike 2 taken away from him. 2-1. And fouled back. 2-2. Almost into the press box.
Kevin Pilar, 27 years old. Signed by Toronto in 2011 out of Southern California.
Swung on and missed. A breaking ball strikes out Pilar, stranding Martin at first base. Pepsi fans of the game watching the Twins and the Blue Jays opening game of a 4-game series, 7-game homestand on Star Wars night. Arcia drops down a bunt, and Martin should have an easy play with Arcia running well into fair territory. Arcia has been working on that, leading off an inning, and with the shift on and the third baseman well off the bag, it's not a bad idea. It was just a bad bunt.
Yeah, it's a good try right there. Actually, he squared around early. And if he could have laid this ball down the third base line, he may have been able to get an infield base hit. But watch him square around early right there. He's trying to bunt it toward Donaldson, but it just didn't get out far enough. So Martin barehanding it and flipping it over to Scope for the first out.
Arcia at one point was about 6 feet into fair territory. You'll see right-handed batters do that from time to time, but left-handed batters should be a little bit easier for them to stay in the dirt. 1-0 to Suzuki, still looking for hit number 1000. It's a nice round number, and I think Kurt should, when he gets it, feel especially proud of that, because as we've seen in his 2.5 years with the Twins, he has taken a brutal pounding behind the plate. Off the plate now, 3-0. Where Sano might have had the green light, and Park certainly did, Suzuki with one down likely will not have the green light.
Yeah, there's not been a walk in the ball game yet for either side.
And right down the middle at the knees, 3-1.
Strada came into this ball game in 765 innings, a 2.6 walks per 9 innings, about 8 strikeouts per 9.
And Suzuki takes a 1-out walk. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. When you have clear skies here, I think the most magnificent scenic shots I've seen at a ballpark have been from this place. There's the moon suspended over downtown Minneapolis on an almost crystal clear spring evening. How lucky are we to be able to come here 81 times a year and enjoy baseball. Swing and a miss. We've seen great scenics in Pittsburgh. There are some great urban ballparks, but maybe because I'm from here, I just think this place is spectacular.
Yeah, they did it right here at Target Field.
1-1 to Santana, bunted for a hit, stole a base, scored a run in the third inning, and now fouled into the seats. You know, Santana can relate to what Eddie Rosario is going through now, because about a year ago it was Santana who had the same experience. Twins were counting on Rosario this year to play left field, as they were counting on Santana last year to be the starting shortstop. And as it did not work well for Santana, it has not worked well for Rosario. And bobbled by Paredes, he'll still have a chance to get the lead runner. Santana will reach in a fielder's choice.
Well, you're absolutely right about Santana and Rosario, how they kind of intermix there, because a couple years ago it was Santana in his first year had hit over 300, and then last year he had only 215. So you have that sophomore jinx sometimes that will say, hey, you know what, yeah, I did well up here, but then it caught up to me. Pitchers learned how to pitch to me a little different. Now I have to go down, and it's up to Rosario to go down and really work his tail end off to hopefully get back up.
Well, that's what Santana did. Now, he had some injury issues at AAA last year, but he hit .322 inside to Dozier ball 1. And that's what the Twins are hoping Rosario will do. He'll get down to AAA and start mashing, and relaxing will be a big part of it, won't it?
Right. Santana stole a base in the third inning, and with 2 outs, there he goes.
Oh my
jump!
And he just took off not on first movement, but about 2 seconds before first movement.
Yeah, Estrada, watch Estrada right here. There he goes. I mean, Estrada didn't even see him. So second stolen base for Santana, his 9th of the year.
Now the Twins are stealing bases at an 80% success rate with the 2 Santana steals tonight. 2-0 to Dozier. Strike one. Dozier singled and scored in the first and struck out in the third. His swinging strike 3 helped Santana steal his 3rd inning base. Foul back, now 2-2.
Well, Mauer was able to get that 2-out RBI single in the 3rd inning. See if Brian can get the 2-out RBI single here. 4 more bases.
And foul back again. Two and two to Brian Dozier. Now off the plate with Nunez on deck. High fly to left field. Saunders, Pilar, and it is Pilar with the call on the catch. Santana left at second base, and we head to the 6th inning. And Jose Bautista, their new leadoff man, will lead off the 6th. And a run for the Twins in the first and another one in the third. Jose Bautista, 11 home runs as a visiting ball player. That's incredible.
He has always enjoyed, and we've seen some hitting here. We've seen some tape measure type shots out of that swing.
A liner to center, and Santana's there. Bautista is quickly retired here in the 6th.
Well, second time he has swung at the first pitch from Santana. Second time he's been able to retire him.
Carsoup.com trivia. We got to squeeze it in here. We're in the 6th inning already because Santana is sailing along. Who are the 2 Blue Jays players to win the American League MVP award? With Josh Donaldson stepping in the batter's box.
Now, if we say him real quick, do we get credit if we say the other one too, right?
Bonus for those rare times when we haven't a clue what the answer is. One strike. Donaldson 0 for 2, a fly to left, and then Santana struck him out swinging. And at the knees, 2 strikes.
He did a great job of striking out Donaldson in the 3rd inning. He went inside, then he went away, then he struck him out, up and in.
Whoa, just missed the corner. 1 and 2.
Pretty good breaking ball right here. Good slider. Says it's a strike.
And now inside 2 and 2. We've gotten the sense watching Santana that he has a plan out there and he knows what he wants to try to do. Now he's human, so he's not always going to be able to execute every pitch. But I think he does know how to pitch. That's what made him desirable by the Twins and other teams as a free agent 2 years ago.
Well, he's one of those guys that has pitched now over 2,000 innings in his career. Good as far as not walking a lot of batters. 2.8 walks per 9 innings. Just over 7 strikeouts on an average per 9. He does draw a walk there. Good sinker, but Donaldson laid off of it.
Now Encarnacion will bat. Saturday, the world's best drivers compete in a winner-take-all fight for $1 million in the NASCAR Sprint Cup All-Star Race. 7:30 Central, only on FS1, or watch it on Fox Sports Go. You ever been to an auto race?
No, but if for $1 million, I gotta go maybe take my Jeep out there and see if I can have a chance.
Tie game.
See you later.
A rocket into the second deck. And right after the walk, 1 pitch after the walk, Encarnacion, who has enjoyed hitting here as well, ties the game.
Fastball that he did not miss. A line drive home run, his 9th home run of the year. And it's a 2-2 game. Well, he tried to go inside, left it a little bit too much. Remember I said you try to go in, you got to go hard in. And that ball kind of right down the heart of the plate. And a good solid swing by Encarnacion ties the game.
Well, 1 out, and now Smoke, who's hit a fly ball to center and a ground ball to second.
Yeah, that's the only the 3rd home run that Santana has allowed. And that was a loud one.
1 strike. Fastball buzzing the outside corner. Now 1-1. Two and 1. Twins with 38 home runs on the year. The Blue Jays now with 50. And now 3-1 to Smoke.
Sometimes that home runs get you out of that little rhythm you were in. Santana falling behind on Smoke here.
He back and just challenged him with a fastball to get strike 2. Smoke playing at first base. Full time now. Chris Colabello serving his 80-game PED suspension. 1 hopper to Nunez right off the end of the bat. 2 down. And that'll bring up Michael Saunders. Saunders with a grounder to first and a fly to left. Expecting great weather this weekend. Just a little bit warmer every day. It's supposed to be 80 degrees on Sunday. No chance of rain.
I think we've had enough rain.
It's only what, low 70s I think today, but it felt like 85 So nice and warm. Inside, ball one to Saunders. And over for a strike, 1-1.
It's part of the game here where you really have to rely on your second and third wind. What I mean is that, you know, the first 5 innings were outstanding. He one time retired 13 straight Blue Jays. But now struggling a little bit here this inning. You have to get over this little hump right here, and hopefully the next couple innings will be good. Pitch count still very good, 84 pitches.
All those complete games. How many complete games?
242, but who was counting?
242. I mean, you were known for your wind.
Yes, in more ways than one. How you do, you hit, you know, throughout, if you go deep into a ball game, 7, 8, 9 innings, there's going to be 1 or 2 innings you're going to struggle. And, you know, this inning right here, he made a mistake to Encarnacion. Good pitch right there. Walking Donaldson. Next one was a cookie right there. And Encarnacion, you're hoping he popped it up. He did not. Good fastball right here. Suzuki wanted that fastball in. And ball had a little run on it. Not that far inside.
3-2. And then he burns the outside corner, and Saunders knew it.
Gosh, that's called pitching, darn it.
Ball 4 to Donaldson, and then on the next pitch, Encarnacion tied the game at 2.
What is Nooney?
Nooney. Goofball, loves him some Latin music.
Kind of a funny guy. Funniest laugh on the team, that's for sure.
Nooney's a pro. He's played in New York. He's played on the big stages. He's played in the playoffs.
Guy that's been around a little bit. He knows what he needs to do.
He goes up there. He's gonna give you a professional at bat, and he's just kind of the ultimate team pro.
And it is Nooney leading off the 6th inning.
We got to see if the Twins can get a couple runs on the board like the Blue Jays did in the top of this inning.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Nunez did play in the postseason in 2011 and 12.
Okay, Nunez a little upset that he missed that fastball, but Estrada's thrown so many off-speed pitches that 89 mile an hour fastball looked like it was about 94.
2 strikes to Nunez, then Mauer and Sano.
Change up right there. I think both pitchers tonight are doing a good job of changing speeds. Santana and Estrada.
Over the inside corner, a called 3rd strike.
Estrada picks up his 5th strikeout the 2nd time Nunez has gone down on strikes.
That'll bring up Mauer.
Fastball inside. Martin sits right there.
And it was not a strike.
I say, you know, Foxtrot's can say all they want, but umpires have their own strike zone. And Joe West, been around the game a long time, said it was strike 3.
Bauer reached on an error in the first. It led to a Twins run, and then he drove in a run with a single in the third. On the outside corner.
Had a very good month of April, Joe Mauer did, but here in the month of May, it's been a struggle.
Changing speeds, hitting corners. When we talk from time to time about a pitcher having or not having command, this is having command for both Santana and Estrada.
You know, last year he started in the bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays and then finally put him into rotation. He was outstanding. 13-game winner for him.
Foul ball, still 2 strikes.
Came up to the big leagues, as I mentioned before, as a reliever with the Nationals, then went over to Milwaukee, still did a lot of relieving. Finally, in 2012, they put him into rotation. He had some good years for the Brewers. 13 wins last year, the most he's had in one season. Now look how far Martin's out, sitting outside.
One and 2. To left field, Saunders makes the catch. Mauer with a liner to left for out number 2, and that'll bring up Sano. Sano went about 2.5 weeks between home runs 3 and 4, but now he's got 7.
Yeah, over the last 7 ball games, he's hit 4 home runs. One in Cleveland, 2 in Detroit on this road trip.
When a team is going well, good, whichever is the appropriate term, they answer right after the other team scores. The Twins have done it in very brief periods this year. But it's a sign that things are clicking when you've just given up 2 runs and now the game's tied. And then you come back and answer in your half of the next inning. Scalded, foul.
Well, he showed you a graphic right there, a chart of where those home runs were. 3 of them right down the heart of the plate, and then 1 inner, kind of up and in.
1 and 2 now to Sano.
I love charts.
Sano was called out on strikes, a knee-high fastball on a 3-2 pitch in the 4th.
Well, let's take a look at this one. He little quick out front, but such a powerful swing.
And then the changeup to strike him out. A 1-2-3-6 for Estrada onto the 7th in a tie game. The Grand Casino story of the game.
Yeah, Twins took advantage of an error, allowed Sano to score Brian Dozier in the first inning. And then Joe Mauer, 2-out hitting, an RBI single in the third, made it a 2-0 ball game. But then last inning, Encarnacion, after a walk to Donaldson, jumped on that first pitch, hit a 2-run home run, his 9th of the year, tied the game at where we're at now, 2 apiece.
Encarnacion with a little chicken wing on his home run trot. Here's Tulowitzki to start the 7th. Outside, ball 1. Twins hoping to get an effective 7th inning from Santana. And then that might be it, with now the 89th pitch coming. 2-0.
Well, velocity is still there. That last fastball clocked at 93.
Out in front of the changeup. 2-1. Tulowitzki hitting just 193, but still 8 home runs. Here's a high fly to center. And Santana makes the catch, 1 away. That'll bring up Paredes.
With the sun setting in the twilight, you know, sometimes those high fly balls sometimes are hard to pick up right away.
Just looking at Santana, and he kind of held his hands out looking towards Arcia, saying, I lost sight of it. We lose sight of it here, but of course, you know, we're not down on the field looking up at the sky. And I think you're right. I think for a brief time he didn't know where that ball was.
I was watching Brian Dozier too. He was kind of running out, kind of pointing at the direction of that fly ball.
Paredes 0 for 3. Couple of ground balls to the right side. A vicious swing and a miss.
Paredes again claimed off waivers by the Toronto Blue Jays just a couple days ago from the Baltimore Orioles. Twins saw him with the Royals and also the Orioles. Good utility type player, getting an opportunity to play second base here tonight.
DeMarlo Hale, the acting manager for the Blue Jays, said, hey, we're trying to get our lineup going. We think this guy right now gives us a chance to help spark the offense. And now 2-1. John Gibbons will be back tomorrow after his 3-game suspension for coming back onto the field after being ejected. Outside, now 3-1. Tony, excuse me, I keep wanting to say Tony. Jose Bautista has a 1-game suspension that he is appealing. Unless or until the appeal is heard, he'll stay in the lineup. Fouled back, 3-2. Full count with 1 down. Martin will follow. Busted bat. 2 Hopper to Mauer. 2 away. This all happened between the Blue Jays and the Rangers because of the bat flip in the playoff last year.
Yeah, Matt Bush, the reliever, ended up getting Bautista, and then Bautista went in hard to second base. Odor did not like it. A little shoving, and then a pow. Oh, Mike Tyson type of punch right there. I guess not really a Mike Tyson because Bautista was still standing.
He's here. 1-0 to Russell Martin.
You may disagree, but again, Bautista only getting 1 game, Odor getting 8. I don't see why Bautista only got 1 game.
There's the suspensions that were handed down. Elvis Andrus got a game for the Rangers.
I only say that because Bautista went in there to hurt Odor, and he jumped out of the way.
That one goes into the press box and predictably back out. Well, I think you could see in a replay, Bautista was cocking and ready to throw a punch himself. The slide was a vicious slide, but they've legislated that, counting the double play and all that. Good inning for Santana. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning.
Game. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins LLC.
Bottom of the 7th coming up in a tie game. Trevor Plouffe, Young O Park, and Oswaldo Arcia will hit. Both starters have pitched very well. This has been a clean game. The game reminds me just a little bit of that middle game in Detroit. I mean, the last game in Detroit, the Twins really didn't give themselves a chance to win. This has been a competitive game. It can go either way, obviously, but it's been a lot more enjoyable to watch. Plouffe to right center field and almost in place. Bautista makes the catch. A first pitch, first out in the 7th inning.
It always comes down to pitching, and for the Blue Jays here, Estrada's pitched outstanding. As for the Twins, Santana has pitched a good ball game, and that's what I think fans want to see. Yeah, you're going to have the games that are lopsided from here to there, but I want to see clean play. I want to see a quick baseball game where guys are very competitive out there.
Here's Park taking ball 1. Park with a swinging strikeout in the 2nd. Then he popped to short in the 4th. Swung away on a 3-0 pitch and got under it. One and one. And now strike 2.
Again, Estrada just going straight over the top with a lot of those fastballs, and it's kind of a sneaky fastball.
Half swing, but he went. Park's gone. 2 away.
Estrada picking up his 7th strikeout.
Twins haven't had a hit since Mauer's base hit made it 2-0 at the end of the 3rd inning.
Straight over the top. We talked about the fastball. He can also throw that curveball straight over the top, and he doesn't like it.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier, and now Arcia tried to bunt his way aboard last time and was thrown out by Martin.
Why me? Why him?
Strike 1. Foul back. Earlier we talked about Santana being sent down last year and how the Twins hope that Rosario will react the way that Santana did. The polar opposite of that is how Arcia reacted last year when he was sent down and hit under 200.
Yeah, he just had a bad year overall. I mean, with the Twins, He did not hit very. I mean, you hit okay, but then you know he ended up getting hurt, got sent down with that right hip injury.
I thought Paul Molitor brought two interesting points up, and if I can cover them both here while Arcia is still hitting. One, there's nothing guaranteed that Rosario will come back. He needs to take care of business down there. And then two, Paul said there are other guys down there that are clamoring to come up. And he mentioned three names. Byron Buxton, we all assume. Max Kepler, who's starting to hit. He's having a good night going for himself in Rochester tonight. But then Adam Brent Walker, who, for lack of a better comparison, is a right-handed version of Oswaldo Arcia. A lot of power and a lot of strikeouts.
Buxton, you wonder if he would have been here, only because he has not played recently because of a bad back.
Not a lineup again tonight. Another 1-2-3 inning for Marco Estrada.
Tomorrow night, you can catch it right here on Fox Sports North. 6:30 for Twins Live. Marco Estrada will go for the Jays. Irvin Santana scheduled to start for the Twins. We get it started at 6:30 with Twins Live.
First run on the third. Blue Jays got two in the sixth, and now on to the eighth. Both starters still in the game. Irvin Santana out there. He'll face Kevin Pillar to start the eighth.
Yeah, 101 pitches for Santana. 60 have been strikes. So giving up 4 hits, 3 singles, and then the 2-run home run to Encarnacion.
Pillar, Bautista, and Donaldson here in the eighth. Ball one. Pillar with a fly to left. He went down swinging in the fifth. Popped up Mauer to chase it. And Mauer with the running catch on a warning track. With Sano in the vicinity, he kept focused on the baseball and made a nice catch.
Yeah, you know what? Brian Dozier over there, too. Joe kicked it in right at the last second. I thought it was Brian Dozier that was going to have to maybe catch this ball right here, but Joe goes back, look, and over his shoulder, nice grab. Very nice play by Joe Mauer. Big first baseman's glove. Opened up nicely. So the first out, a foul ball out. What an out.
You think that Mauer didn't hear the thundering footsteps of Miguel Sano crossing the foul line? Here's Bautista. Ball one. 0 for 2, excuse me, 1 for 3 Bautista. A single in his first at bat.
Yeah, Santana fell behind him 3-1 and 3-1 count in that first inning. Gave him a fastball and he got a base hit. Next 2 at bats, he jumped on that first pitch for 2 outs. Four hits for the Blue Jays, 3 hits for the Twins. Dangerous pitch here. You see Suzuki went through a lot of different fingers there. They're it is. He's going to go inside, get it in there.
3-0. Donaldson on deck.
Tried that two-seam running fastball.
Brandon Kinchler, Fernando Abad getting loose. And the 4-pitch walk, 36th walk taken by Bautista against 33 strikeouts. Second walk for Santana.
You know what? I really don't think that Irvin wanted to make a mistake right there to Bautista. You know, history is what it is with Bautista here at Target Field. And when he fell behind, he tried to go to the sinker down and in, maybe get a ground ball, but you can see that last pitch. It was a breaking ball away. There are times that you now hopefully can get a ground ball off of this guy's bat.
Strike one. Donaldson drew the other walk against Santana, and then on the very next pitch, Encarnacion hit his laser into the second deck. Grounder to short. Nunez to Dozier.
Works out.
Double play. 8 very good innings for Irvin Santana. We are tied at 2 here at Target Field.
Great ball game so far, bottom of the 8th in a 2-2 baseball game. Stay with us afterwards for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll take a look at this wicked good pitchers duel. Estrada and Santana toe-to-toe. Santana 8 strong for the Twins. They can get him a run here. He'll get a win in this ball game. Also, we'll take a look at small ball for the Twins, helping them build an early 2-0 lead. We'll take you inside the clubhouse. We'll hear from the manager, Paul Molitor. This is the way, Bert, it's supposed to be done, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, one mistake by Santana, but credit Marco Estrada. He's matching him pitch by pitch.
Up and away, ball 1. Suzuki 0 for 1 with a walk. Drew a 4-pitch walk his last time up in the 5th inning.
Remember, the Twins' first run in the first inning was an unearned run because of the error. Estrada 8 strikeouts, 1 walk.
And now 2-0.
And you saw Neil Allen talking to Santana. So at 109 pitches, as Kevin Jepson starting to loosen up in the bullpen, did a great job.
On the outside corner, 2-1. Suzuki, Santana, and Dozier. Three and 1. Can't ask for anything more than what Irvin Santana gave the Twins here tonight.
I'm telling you, when he walked Bautista, he didn't want to make a mistake right there, and he made a great pitch to Donaldson to get the double play. Good pitching, all around pitching, 8 good innings.
Dribble to the right side. Paredes has it and fires to first, getting Suzuki one away. Hit a right off the end of the bat. One away. Carsoup.com trivia. I believe the answers are Josh Donaldson and George Bell. In 1987. And the Blue Jays that year were eliminated on the last weekend by the Detroit Tigers. And then the Tigers were heavy favorites against the representative from the American League West.
Would that be the Twins?
That was the Twins. I always felt that year that might have been Kirby Puckett's best chance to win the MVP award. Puckett in '87 hit .332, 32 doubles, 28 home runs, 99 runs batted in, 96 runs scored, but Bell won the award. Swing and a miss, and Santana strikes out.
Another good changeup by Estrada, strikeout number 9.
2 down, and now Dozier.
Just doing a great job of adding and subtracting. Great location of that changeup.
The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. Choose in advance or even the day of the game, so don't plan flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com. Flex. Here's a drive to left field off the bat of Dozier. Saunders going back, and he makes the catch on the warning track. A 1-2-3-8, and we head to the 9th. Tied at 2. With Edwin Encarnacion tying the game in his last at bat.
Yeah, the reason is it is tied because of this 2-run home run off of Santana. After a walk to Donaldson, Encarnacion hitting his 9th home run. That was a laser right there into the second deck here at Target Field. And Kevin Jepson coming out of the bullpen, making his 17th relief appearance. Last couple outings have been better for Jepson. Seems like the fastball is down in the zone a little bit better. Getting some breaking balls over. See the high opponent's batting average off of Jepson. Jepson allowed 19 hits, 3 home runs in 15 1/3 innings.
Can't have a save situation anymore, but Jepson, who won back-to-back games out of the bullpen back in April, hasn't had a save, nor have the Twins had a save since April 16th, nearly 5 weeks ago. Encarnacion, Smoke, and Saunders in the top of the 9th. Down and away, ball 1.
funny because the 2 saves came back to back for Jepson against the Angels in that 3-game sweep over the Angels. That was it.
A strike called on the outside corner. Encarnacion has doubled against Jepson the only time he's faced him. And a fastball yanked wide, and it's 2-1.
Encarnacion in his 8th season with the Toronto Blue Jays, 12th season overall. They came up with the Cincinnati Reds back in 2005.
Ooh,
good
Joe
fastball.
West, generous strike zone.
Oh, that was a good pitch. Good fastball down and away. Pitcher's
2 inches
pitch.
outside.
My goodness. Watch
Look at
this.
that
He
pitch.
hits the glove.
I would hope so.
Throw the glove on the on deck circle and hit it.
2-2. See if the breaking ball's coming next. Nope. Fastball, nothing but fastballs. That at 96, but now it's a full count to the leadoff man here in the 9th.
Well, you just have to keep this ball down because you leave it thigh high and up. Encarnacion, he showed his power in the 6th inning. Good fastball.
And the bat sails to the far end of the Toronto dugout and over the roof. And Encarnacion swings at what might have been ball 4 because of where strike 2 was called.
Well, that ball almost looked like it took off a little bit, but a little pitch by pitch. Kevin Jepson misses down, ball 1. Then he hits the outer half of the plate. Now another pitch. He's ahead in the count. Now he tries to clip the corner again. Doesn't get the call. He did right there. And then on the pitch, see that ball kind of took off a little bit. Good fastball.
1 down, and now here's Justin Smoke, 0 for 3. Fly ball to center and a couple of ground balls, and there's a strike on the outside corner. Well, here we are just over 2 hours into this game. We're in the 9th inning, in part because, in my opinion, the umpires had a very generous strike zone.
Well, that's your opinion. I think he's had an outstanding strike zone.
There's a half swing and a strike.
Well, maybe you got that word from the memo from the commissioner saying, you know, hey, baseball's what, 7 minutes longer than last year.
Right.
Let's speed it up a little bit. And these guys do control the game, the umpires.
Well, you've had 2 starting pitchers, and now the game will be handed over to the bullpen, but they've been right around the plate. There's the breaking ball, but it misses. 1-2. Roberto Osuna, closer for the Blue Jays, getting loose.
Yeah, Estrada after 8 very good innings, 104 pitches.
1-2 to Smoke. And Jepson struck him out with a breaking ball. 2 down, and now Michael Saunders.
They got Encarnacion on the fastball, then the breaking ball, down and in. And Smoke chased a pitch out of the strike zone.
A pitch that has kind of been hard for Jepson to master at the start of this season, and it has cost him some runs, the team some runs, some wins. So it's good to see him throw it and get a strikeout because of it. Up and away, ball 1. Saunders 0 for 3, a ground ball, a fly ball, and a strikeout. And 1-1.
Jepson last pitched on Sunday in Cleveland, 1 shutout inning, and the Twins 5-1 win. Change up right there, misses low.
Two and 1. on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Saunders muttering something to Joe West. Checked, and it's 3-2.
Well, another fastball that's up a little bit. Saunders very close.
Full count with 2 gone in the top of the 9th. A drive to right center field. Sano over. Can't make the play. It short hops the wall, and Saunders has a 2-out double, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki. Saunders' first hit of the game, hitting it to the gap in right center field.
And 2-out double. Saunders getting his 10th double of the year. His fastball, he wanted it away, but pretty much right there. Saunders hit it sharply. One hops the wall. And Sano has to get it back in.
Given where that pitch was, Saunders has got some pop. Twins are lucky it was just a double. Here is Tulowitzki. 2 flies to center and a bouncer to short. Up high, very high. Tulowitzki has only faced Jepson once, and Jepson got him out.
Got to get back in the strike zone, starting to leave some fastballs up. Last 3 or 4 have been about belt high and higher. Those are the adjustments you have to make as a pitcher. He's got a good fastball, but keep it down. Another high fastball.
Now, isn't he in the same situation Santana was in when he fell behind Bautista 2-0 in the 8th inning? You get a base open, and Paredes is on deck. And Paredes a capable hitter, or he wouldn't be here, but he's not Troy Tulowitzki, even though Tulowitzki's been struggling.
Right. And you know Tulowitzki's looking dead red right here. He's looking for that pretty straight fastball that Jepson throws. Suzuki should work outer half of the plate. There's a good pitch.
95 at the knees on the corner. 2-1.
Hitters, a lot of hitters, you know, when they get the count in their favor, 0-2 situations like this, they're looking for something hard in that they can drive. You see the comparison, what happened to Tulowitzki the last 3 years, hit 340 2 years ago.
3-1. Paredes, the on-deck hitter, is 0 for 3 with 3 ground balls pulled to the right side.
And you're right, Dick. This is a situation right here. Maybe a breaking ball. You don't want to give in to him right here.
Center and deep. Santana back. Santana over, leaps and makes a catch in center field. Danny Santana saves the run in the 9th.
Jepson better wait for him and give him a big hug. What a great catch by Danny Santana. Maybe a game saver.
A veteran run producer got robbed by Danny Santana.
You got to be a little smarter than that. Kevin Jepson, okay, the high fastball, he didn't make an adjustment at all. Everything was up. Yeah, he got that one down for a strike. Another one he just missed. Now you're in danger zone. And if it wasn't for your center fielder that made an outstanding catch, the Toronto Blue Jays would have a lead right now. What a great grab right there. Jepson right there gives him a big hug, said thank you very much.
There have been 3 walk-off wins for the Twins this year. April 17th against the Angels. Oswaldo Arcia got the game winner, a single. Then April 25th against the Indians, Arcia homered. And then Miguel Sano got one the next day. Here's a pitch fouled back, 1 strike to Nunez. The scheduled hitters, Nunez, Mauer, and Sano, against the Toronto closer, Roberto Osuna.
Yeah, the numbers on Osuna, 8 saves and 9 save opportunities. Not a save opportunity. 16 innings pitched. This is his 18th appearance. He's allowed only 11 hits.
And Nunez with another foul. 0-2. 16 innings, just the 1 home run allowed.
Osuna just 21 years old. Good fastball. We saw that right there. Hard slider and a changeup.
Up high, 1-2. Nunez, the ideal guy to lead off the inning, because if he can get on base, his speed could be a game changer. Instead, a 96-mile-per-hour fastball off the plate, and Nunez has struck out now 3 times in a row. That'll bring up Mauer.
Well, Estrada had 9 strikeouts in his 8 innings, and Osuna comes in and just blows Nunez away.
Mauer drove in a run with his 3rd inning single, reached on an error, a key play in the 1st inning run. Then he lined out to the left fielder Saunders in the 6th.
It's the last hit the Twins have been able to muster.
In Joe's great career, no walk-off home runs, and only 1 walk-off hit, and it was nearly 10 years ago. Down in the dirt, 1-1.
Change up right there, missed low.
Just 3 hits for the Twins, 3 singles, and they needed all 3 of them to score their 2 runs. Two and 1 to Mauer. Nice pickup by Tulowitzki, and he throws him out. A hot ground ball, and it came up on Tulowitzki. He stayed with it for out number 2.
Yeah, the former Gold Glove winner made a great play. That ball did come up. Joe hit it sharply right up the middle and saw that ball come up. Tulowitzki all in one motion, able to get it, spin around throw. And he gets Joe at first base for the 2nd out. Nice defensive play.
Last walk-off hit for the Twins was April 26th against the Indians. Miguel Sano singled up the middle to score Brian Dozier. Down and away, ball 1. Tonight, Sano drove in the 1st run with a deep fly ball to center. Since then, 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging. Fouled back. 1-1.
It's power against a power swing right there. Fastball at 97. Osuna from Mexico signed with the Blue Jays when he was 15 years old back in 2011.
Off the end of the bat, and that'll spin and stay fair. Smoke to the bag, and we will head to a 10th inning, tied at 2. On this beautiful night, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. 4th extra inning game for the Twins. They've won their only one at home, lost the 2 on the road. The first walk-off win for the Twins back on April 17th was a 12-inning win. Brandon Kintzler will come into the ball game for the 5th time this year.
Yeah, Kintzler last worked on Tuesday in Detroit, an inning and a third of shutout baseball. Retired all 4 batters he was asked to get through 12 pitches, 8 for strikes.
He'll face the bottom third of the Blue Jay batting order scheduled: Paredes, Martin, and Pilar.
Kintzler, 31 years old. He has major league experience with the Milwaukee Brewers for 6 seasons. Made 174 relief appearances.
Paredes steps in the box. Martin in the on-deck circle, then Kevin Pilar. Kintzler basically filling the role previously held by Casey Fiend. Side ball 1. Casey now in the Dodger organization. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Not an overpowering fastball. Good slider and a changeup.
And now 1-2. 92 miles per hour. And if he keeps it down and away, he should have some success. Just missed the corner. 2-2.
Yeah, Kintzler, 31 years old, a guy that originally signed by the Padres, was let go and then played 3 years of independent baseball, and one of those years in 2009 right here in St. Paul.
3-2. Saints having their home opener tonight.
Ended up getting looked at by the Milwaukee Brewers. He signed with the Brewers later that summer. Spent 5 different seasons with the Brewers. Excuse me, 6 different seasons.
Full count to Paredes. That's to left center field. And it's down for a hit to the gap. And Santana will fire it in. It's a leadoff double for Jimmy Paredes, and that'll bring up Russell Martin.
Well, the ball had some movement away, but it just stayed about belt high, and Paredes ended up taking it the other way. Hit the perfect spot right out in left center.
I was wrong. He pitched down and away. And Paredes got an extra base hit.
Yep. Look where this ball ends up. It splits between Arcia and Santana. Let's see if Martin's asked to bunt here. He's been struggling a lot.
Singled in his 5th inning at bat, 1 for 3. Plouffe in on the grass. And Kinsler sticks a fastball on the outside corner. Martin with 109 at bats and 42 strikeouts.
Well, he's looking to hit the ball the other way right here. Does not have a sacrifice.
Looking to hit the ball. That's a very high strikeout rate. Fouled away, 1-2. Kinsler with 1 strikeout in his 4 1/3 innings. As a major leaguer, 185 innings and 135 strikeouts. Needs to get one here. A breaking ball and got a foul back. Paredes at second after his leadoff double. Down and away, 2-2. The Paredes double, just the 6th Toronto hit. Hack foul. Two and two. Now missing the outside corner again. Base is open now, but you'd like to leave it open to give you a little flexibility if the lineup turns over with the likes of Batista, maybe Donaldson coming up.
Trying to get that strikeout away. See what he goes with here.
Driven foul into the seats.
Tried the fastball away.
Another 3-2. Check swing and a foul.
Well, he's staying with the fastball.
The only breaking ball he threw, he hung it up there. Hasn't gotten Martin to swing and miss yet. Handful of fouls here in this critical 10th inning at bat. where he's been wanting to throw that fastball, and Martin got a piece of that one too. He's not looking like a guy who strikes out 40% of the time.
Boy, he's thrown him so many fastballs, you know he's looking dead red. Now you wonder if he can, you have to have confidence in that secondary pitch. Might chase a breaking ball if you can get it down and away.
And it'll advance the runner. Dozier over to first. And pretty good at bat by Martin there. He fought off some tough pitches to stay alive, and then he ended up advancing Paredes to third base. Pilar will bat. Time now for what's next. Brought to you by CenturyLink. Aaron Sanchez going for the Blue Jays, and Tyler Duffy's handled his recall very well with an ERA of under 2. Pilar with a fly to left, a foul out to Mauer, and a strikeout. And Suzuki and Kinsler have a chat while the infield positions itself in.
This is a good trip to the mound by Suzuki, only because of that long at bat he had with Martin. Give Kinsler a little breather right here. Go over how you're going to pitch Pilar. Infield has to come in. Paredes at third base, very quick of foot.
Pilar a much tougher strikeout. And Kinsler gets ahead of him. Pilar struck out in the 5th inning. Just his 24th strikeout and 163 at bats. Missed the corner. Kinsler trying to pitch around the leadoff double here in the 10th. Cracked foul, and it's 1-2. We got the best ball boys. Maybe that's the same guy.
I'm telling you what, I think.
Shaking it a little bit. That ball was drilled.
I think it's a different ball boy, but might be the same.
1-2 to Kevin Pilar. Kinsler tried to strike out Martin, but couldn't. Can he get Pilar?
Suzuki creeping inside.
Jam shot and a dribbler foul.
Yeah, good pitch. Watch the catcher Suzuki sitting inside. That two-seamer just ran in on Pilar, and he just fouled it off.
Another 1-2. 2-2.
Kinsler getting called up on May 7th.
Wrapped to third. Plouffe looks the runner back. 2 down.
I got the ground ball.
And now all sorts of options are in play with Bautista coming to the plate. No place for Paredes to go. When the Twins called up Kinsler, they described him as a sinker ball pitcher. And he's gotten a couple of big ground ball outs. And we'll see what the Twins do here with Bautista. Suzuki right now in the crouch. Donaldson on deck. And you see, well, Donaldson was a league MVP last year. Strike one. Are you surprised there?
No,
okay.
I'm not surprised. I think, you know, Kinsler on a roll right now. Yeah, he did give up that 3-2 fastball away to Paredes. Hit the double, but it got a couple big outs. Going right after him. Keep it away.
Wrapped to short. Nunez with a stop from his knees. Fires Brewers. Got him. What a play by Eduardo Nunez. In the 9th inning, it was Danny Santana. In the 10th, Nunez saves a run with a great play. Going back to the middle of April, Oswaldo Arcia dropped a game winner into the left field corner, scoring Byron Buxton in the bottom of the 12th. Then, about a week and a half later, a home run in the bottom of the 9th. Very next day against the Indians, Miguel Sano rifled a single up the middle. So the Twins have 3 walk-off wins and now looking for a 4th. Trevor Plouffe leads off. Takes a strike over the inside corner.
And Osuna out there for his 2nd inning of relief.
Plouffe, Park, and Arcia. If all 3 hit. 0-2. Twins have not had a hit since Mauer's RBI single that ended the 3rd inning when he was out at second base.
Boy, for a team that played really poor defense yesterday, they are made some great plays here tonight.
In key spots, Plouffe gone on 3 pitches.
Yeah, 3 nasty breaking balls right there against Trevor Plouffe, and Osuna picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Byung-Ho Park is 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a pump up to short on a 3-0 pitch. Hold foul, 1 strike. Park the team leader with 9 home runs, but as we said, Osuna's just given up 1 this year. Checked his swing, 1-1.
Boy, he's got a tight breaking ball, doesn't he?
How do you take that?
Last year, 69 2/3 innings, 75 strikeouts, only 16 walks.
Now 2-1. And last year, in just about 70 innings, just 7 home runs allowed. It would have been a foul ball, but he dove across the line and made a great backhanded catch.
Well, they're guarding the line anyway to take away the extra base hit. Park out front, hits it sharply. Donaldson guarding that line. makes a nice dive and comes up with that line drive catch.
And now Arcia has delivered 2 of the 3 walk-off hits, one of them a home run. In the dirt, ball 1.
Start him off with a changeup.
Swing and a miss at the fastball. Another swing and a miss, this time at 97. That's 1 and 2.
And with those 2 swings right there, you know that the veteran Martin behind the plate is going to call again a dead red fastball.
One and 2. Busted his bat into right center field, and coming in is Bautista to make the catch. And we'll head to the 11th inning.
Extra innings, and they're presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Beef your wild side. Well, we go to the top of the 11th inning in a 2-2 tie. And the 3rd reliever coming out of the bullpen. This will be Ryan Presley making his 20th relief appearance. 22 2/3 innings, 22 strikeouts, but the high walks 14.
Josh Donaldson will lead off the 11th, and Encarnacion and Smoke. Big swing and a miss. Donaldson a couple of hits, including a home run and 4 at bats against Ryan Presley. Stuck a 95-mile-per-hour fastball on or near the outside corner. Breaking ball, checked his swing. Joe West said he went, and that's the first out of the 11th inning. And Donaldson pretty much saying what I was saying earlier. Why don't you just ask?
Well, I'll tell you what, Both innings, extra innings, have ended with great plays by Santana. A great catch to end the 9th inning. And then we just saw Nunez make a game-saving play at short.
And Kinsler ended up pitching around that leadoff double. Now one down. Here's Encarnacion. Missing the inside corner. Ball 1. Encarnacion singled sharply in the first, then creamed a home run into the second level here with a man aboard in the 6th.
Yeah, really the only bad pitch that Santana made. Both starters pitched outstanding.
2-0. Saw Presley's numbers and 14 walks in now 23 innings. Now he falls behind Encarnacion 2-0.
A dangerous pitch. And it's a breaking ball, and Encarnacion looking dead red. Meaning fastball.
Breaking ball missing. A cutter maybe.
Laid off of that.
3-1. Smoke on deck. A tremendous swing on a pitch in a really good spot.
That's what he's looking for. Now, if you can get a curveball over right here, you might lock him up.
Over or in the dirt behind the plate?
Oh, just throw it over. You're going to fool the heck out of him. He's looking dead red.
Snap bat and a base hit. Got in there with a fastball.
He got in there with a fastball, and that bat shattered in half. Suzuki setting away. The ball came running in on Encarnacion.
Bat split lengthwise.
Look at that.
And now smoke. And Paul Molitor is going to come to the mound. And I believe Fernando Abad's going to come in with 1 out and a man at first. Out a single, and he is replaced by a pinch runner. Ezekiel Carrera will run for Encarnacion, and Fernando Abad will face Justin Smoke.
Yeah, Abad, last time he was on the mound was in Cleveland on Friday. Worked just a third of an inning through 6 pitches, 3 strikes, making his 18th relief appearance. Done a great job out of that bullpen.
Smoke is a switch hitter, but he's a more dangerous left-handed hitter. He has 7 hits in 28 at bats from the right side, but only 1 extra base hit, and that's a double. So Carrera in the game for Encarnacion. The bullpen has had some issues. There's no question about that, but Abad's been really good. Smoke from the right side, strikes out 1 every 4 times.
We've seen Abad, good fastball in the low 90s, big slow curveball, great changeup.
Smoke has faced Abad twice and struck out twice. Base hit to left on the very first pitch, and Carrera checks in at second base.
They start him off with a breaking ball, left it up, and Smoke gets his first hit. Put runners at first and second with 1 out.
And now Michael Saunders, a left-handed batter. And Suzuki to the mound. Abad has faced 18 left-handed batters this year. He's walked 1 and retired the other 17. Saunders doubled his last time up with 2 outs in the 9th. Came right before Santana's game-saving catch to end the 9th inning. High fly, short center field. Santana comes in. 2 away.
2 pitches, a base hit and a fly out.
Abad is retired 18 of the 19 left-handed batters he's faced with 1 walk. And now Tulowitzki, who hit that drive toward the bullpen, cut off by Santana with Saunders at second and 2 away in the 9th. Missing ball 1. Twins haven't had many opportunities, and Toronto's been 0 for 7. They've had their opportunities late in this ball game. And a couple of at bats in the first inning, and then nothing till the 9th, 10th, and now the 11th innings. 1-0 to Tulowitzki.
Good changeup right there.
Half swing. Did he go? Joe West says yes. 1-2.
Good fastball, good spot, down and away.
And he did go. One and 2 to Tulowitzki. Fastball off the plate. And as you remind viewers all the time, you really want to settle the issue here. You don't want the count to go full.
Yeah, good speed at second base.
Throwing him a couple of fastballs in a row.
We've seen Abad very comfortable throwing a breaking ball at any time.
And a base hit to center field. Carrera will score, and Tulowitzki comes through to put the Jays up their first lead of the ball game.
They left a fastball right there, and Tulowitzki picks up his first hit, driving in his 21st run. Suzuki wanted it away, and the ball left right down the heart of the plate. Tulowitzki up the middle. Carrera scores. A run charged to Ryan Presley. But it's a 3-2 Blue Jay lead.
And now Paredes will bat. There's the off-speed pitch missing, ball one. Presley struck out Donaldson but gave up the base hit, shattering Encarnacion's bat. And the pinch runner Carrera has just scored to make it 3-2 Toronto. Off speed again, off the plate again, 2-0.
That's why location of that fastball so important. Ball right down the heart of the plate to Tulowitzki. Even the ball that Presley gave up to Encarnacion. Suzuki wanted it away, left it in, fought it off, got that base hit. Paredes now is a right-handed hitter, 1-for-1.
Bauer chasing it, and on the warning track, a slide coming up a little short. Abad has gotten the left-handed batter Saunders out, but 2 hits to the right-handed batters. And now facing another switch hitter in Paredes. 11 hits, 34 at bats against Abad from the right side. The outside corner, and it's 2-2. Runs are due to start with Suzuki in the bottom of the 11th. Santana, Dozier are scheduled. Let's see Polanco with a bat and gloves. 2-2. Now a full count, and the runners will take off. Foul back. We'll get up into the 3rd level here at Target Field. Polanco going back to the cage, maybe to hit off a tee or maybe get some flips from somebody.
That's what's nice about these new ballparks. You're able to do that.
Three and 2, and the runners go. Behind first, Mauer chasing it, a foul ball. And another, that bat break again, or did it just fall out of his hand?
I think he just kind of threw the bat at the baseball. Looked like a changeup right here.
Yeah.
The last second just kind of flung the bat out. The ball went foul.
Three singles in the go-ahead run here in the 11th. And Abad trying to strand 2 runners. And a changeup bounced foul. Blue Jays with 9 hits, Twins with just 3, and again no hits for the Twins since their 2 singles back in the 3rd inning. And a walk will load him up for Russell Martin.
He tried the fastball away and missed it down and away.
And now Martin 1 for 4.
Trevor May getting loose.
Blue Jays tied the game in the 6th. Got a 2-out double and a scoring threat in the 9th. A leadoff double in the 10th, but didn't score. But now 3 singles and a walk. Swing and a miss by Martin.
Yeah, Martin had a good at-bat in the 10th inning.
Fouled off, what, a half dozen Kinsler pitches and ended up hitting a chopper over the mound to advance the runner. 18th pitch for Abad. 1-1. In a good spot, a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, and he's ahead of the count, 1-2. Right on the outside corner. 2 really good fastballs to end the inning, but a couple of singles, including the go-ahead single, and the Jays lead 3-2. Entertaining game, but Troy Tulowitzki got a big base hit in the top of the 11th inning.
Yeah, Bod left a fastball, a 2-2 fastball right there, base hit up the middle. Joe Biagini coming in, making his 11th relief appearance, has done a good job out of that bullpen. A Rule 5 draft pick from the Giant organization over the winner by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ryan Goins is at second base. And there's a pinch hitter for Kurt Suzuki. He'll have to wait another night for career hit number 1,000. Jorge Polanco, switch hitter with some speed, will hit leading off the 11th inning. Slow breaking ball missing the outside corner. Blue Jays were hoping in situations like this Drew Storen might be the guy, but he's off to a real tough start. 21 hits, 14 innings, 4 home runs, ERA of over 8. And now a strike, 1-1.
Biagini, just 25 years old. Last year at Double-A in the Giant organization.
Two and one. Santana will hit next, and then Dozier. Trying to find a way to at least send us to the 12th inning. Ground ball hit right at Tulowitzki. And an easy play for the first out. And that'll bring up Santana. Santana with a bunt single, a stolen base, and a run scored in the 3rd inning. He scored on Mauer's 2-out single. Not only have the Twins not scored since, they haven't gotten a hit since.
See if we get Speedy Santana on the base paths.
Showed bunt, didn't offer, ball 1. He's already bunted successfully in front of Donaldson once. That time he offered, 1-1.
That time almost looked like he wanted to take that ball in as Goings, the second baseman, comes charging in.
Yeah, I don't. If you do it twice in one game to Josh Donaldson, that would be memorable. Backhanded under the glove of Goins, put into the game for defense, and Santana reaches.
Well, that's where speed sometimes, you know, Goins right there knows who hit that ball. He was thinking, you know, I got to backhand this and I got to turn and throw all in one motion because of Santana's speed going up the middle. And that ball never came up on him. And Andy Santana and his speed at first base.
If Goins had slowed that up just a little bit more, Santana would have gone to second.
It's a base hit for Santana, his second.
And now Dozier. Line drive single to left in 4 trips. Way back in the 1st inning. Down and away, just missing with Martin holding it. And then Martin has some words now for Joe West after taking his catcher's mitt and motioning it at the pitcher like that's right where I wanted it. That's an extended chat between the catcher and the home plate umpire.
We saw that with J.R. Ryan doing it, and he got thrown out.
Murphy,
excuse me.
And that's a foul ball, backhanded by Donaldson.
Well, keep an eye on Santana at first base. He already has a couple stolen bases in this game. Biagini in the Giant organization, always a starter.
One and one to Dozier. Santana airborne, dives back to the bag. Santana got a big jump, and now they step off, throw, and get him out. Same way that he stole the base in the 5th inning. He left too early in the 5th inning. He got away with it. Not here in the 11th.
And that's the key, what you said. In the 11th, you have to make sure that you can steal a base this late in the ball game. You can't make a mistake like this. Biagini, to his credit, stepped up, threw a nice pitch or throw to Goings, and Santana tagged out for the second out.
Now 1 and 1 to Dozier. Last hope for the Twins. Checked his swing, 2-1. It just takes so much out of your inning. A double by Dozier would have tied the game, probably. Two and two.
As I mentioned, Biagini last year at Double-A, no saves in the minor leagues. Looking to pick up a save here. It'd be his first major league save and his first career save. Ryan asking for time.
Two and two to Dozier. And the Blue Jays in 11 innings beat the Twins and their 5-game losing streak. Final score 3-2. Tom Hanham and the Twins had a really good start today from Irvin Santana, but Danny Santana's base running mistake in the 11th might have cost them the ball game.
Dick, 40 games into this season, the Twins record their 30th loss. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll talk about the extra inning loss, a terrific pitcher's duel tonight. We'll hear from Paul Molitor, and we'll preview tomorrow night's Game 2 of this 4-game series.